Hey guys, welcome back. So in today's video, I'm going to be giving you a quick update on my Bare Minerals Bare Skin Foundation. I've had the foundation for a little over a week now, and I've been wearing it every single day, except for yesterday. I actually wore my Bourjois Healthy Mix Serum Foundation because these are both labeled as serum foundations, and I wanted to do some comparing and contrasting for you guys. Just so you can get an overall feel for how this foundation is working out for my skin lately. So first of all, I want to mention that, again, this is not a complete review yet. I feel like this foundation is just so different from anything I've ever tried. I still have to keep on using it, but I want to give you guys an update on things that I've noticed, some pros, some cons, and also I want to address some questions that I've had in the comment section down below. A lot of you guys have the same questions, and I don't want to like copy and paste my answer to everyone because I think that would be kind of artificial, not very personable. So I want to do my best to connect with you guys on more of a personal level and answer your questions in this video about the Bare Skin Serum Foundation. Also, another thing I want to mention is I was really worried with my kind of first impressions video that a lot of people would think my kind of opinion of this foundation would be biased, since 90% of the content on my channel is Bare Minerals related. And I just want you guys to know that I am totally honest with how this, or I'm going to be totally honest with you on how this foundation is working out for me. Like I mentioned, I am going to mention some cons that I've been having with this, and I just want you guys to know that I don't want my review to be biased at all. I'm going to give you all the information that I've been noticing, down to the small little spectacles that probably no one would even care about. So if you're interested in kind of hearing my opinion and my update on the foundation, please keep on watching. So the biggest change for me in this overall new foundation routine would have to be the brush. So the Perfecting Face brush was what they designed for the Bare Skin foundation, and you guys saw in my first video if you did watch it. If not, I'll have it linked down below. I did mention that this was so small compared to the Precision Face brush, which was the most recent brush that Bare Minerals came out with for the Ready foundation. So I have definitely switched brushes. I do want to be honest about it because this is just a little bit too small for my face. I don't really feel like I almost feel like it's taking away more of the foundation than it is buffing it in. You can see when I place it up to my face, it's like a little circle. It covers like maybe this much of my face. So that's what I was a little bit hesitant about, and after using it for the past week, it's really great for underneath your eyes, but as far as like the rest of your face, I just almost feel like it's sweeping the foundation off of my face. So the brush that I have swapped out has been, I went from the Perfecting Face brush to the Real Techniques buffing brush. This has been my favorite foundation brush for any type of liquid foundation ever since I bought it. I even stopped using the Beauty Blender because I like this so much. And I feel like the reason why I like this brush so much for the serum foundation, the Bare Skin Serum, is because it covers a little bit more volume on my face. As you can see, it's a little bit larger, a little bit more fluffier. I'm just not a huge fan of dense brushes. I've said this time after time, and I just really prefer something that's going to be a little bit more fluffier because I feel like it buffs into the skin so much more flawlessly. It looks a little bit more airbrushed. So this is the brush that I have been using pretty much ever since. I guess I used the Perfecting Face brush for probably 2 or 3 days, and I've been using this ever since, and I think it applies so much more flawlessly. I don't have to use as much of the foundation if I use this brush. It definitely gives me fuller coverage. So that is the first question that I wanted to address. A lot of people were asking me, do I really need this brush? And honestly, this is just my personal opinion. I have just been loving my Real Techniques buffing brush. Another thing that was brought to my attention by a couple people, and I honestly thought it was just me experiencing this, was the foundation accentuating dry patches. I want to cover this in 2 different ways because I say this in every single video. I have deathly dry skin. I mean, it's like chronic dry skin. I cannot get rid of it no matter what I do. I'm just always going to have dry skin, and it's mainly around my mouth and chin area. So for probably the first 3 days that I wore this foundation, I topped it off with my Bare Minerals Original Powder Foundation. And The biggest thing I noticed with that was it definitely was enhancing my drier areas. So for me, I have stopped using the powder foundation on top of it and just started using the foundation alone. That improved the overall look of my makeup by so much. It just looks so much more fresher and dewier and just a lot more healthier than kind of putting the powder foundation on top of it. But back to the claim about it accentuating dry patches, I did notice that when I wore it with the powder foundation, and since then my skin has kind of cleared up a little bit more. It's not as dry. It's really improved, but overall I have not been using the powder foundation with it. I think that just with my dry skin, it's just not a necessity, and I think it honestly looks fine alone. Another smaller detail that I've noticed is that the foundation actually has more of a satin finish to it than what I initially thought. You know, whenever you think of a serum foundation, you think of something that's probably going to be very liquidy, very moisturizing. This is very liquidy, but if you rub it in on your hand, and that's the first time that I noticed it when I actually put it on my hand as opposed to my face, it has a little bit more of a satin velvety finish, which totally like caught me off guard. I was like, whoa, is that really coming off that, you know, velvety? So that's gonna be, I think, a pro for those of you who have oily skin. So don't be afraid to try this out. Again, I keep saying don't be afraid to try this because you never know how it's going to work for you. But I do want to mention that I did notice a little bit more of a velvety kind of finish to it. That's not to say that it's going to have a completely matte finish, because it definitely does not. But again, I think that's just another versatile thing about this foundation. Like I said, it's the strangest foundation I have tried to date. Okay, I also want to share the products I've been using alongside of this foundation for the past week. So, like I said, I've ditched the powder. I have not done any powder with this. If I do set anything, it is with my Ready Touch-Up Veil in Translucent. This is just a very lightweight powder, and I basically use it to set my concealer. Speaking of concealer, this is just revolutionary for me. I just can't even believe that I'm saying this right now, but I have been using the Bare Minerals Correcting Concealer with this foundation. It is such a gem with this foundation, you guys. You know that I was not a huge fan of this concealer when using it with my original and Ready foundation, but I'm here to tell you it is amazeballs with the Serum foundation. And yes, amazeballs, totally. I can't believe how much I love this concealer with this foundation. I do have it on right now. I've got the Serum foundation on with the correcting concealer underneath my eyes. I'll have all of my shades listed below. But you guys, seriously, if you weren't a fan of this concealer with your powder foundation and you still have it on hand, try it with the Serum foundation, because it looks so flawless underneath my eyes. I have not even done anything else underneath my eyes except for the correcting concealer. So that is a pro. I've been able to incorporate my cream concealer in with the Serum foundation. So that's what I've been wearing for my concealer. For kind of an all-over powder, this is going to sound totally crazy, but I've been using my BECCA Shimmering Skin Perfector in Opal, and this is a straight up highlighter. It's not meant to be an all over face powder, but that's what I've been using it for, because I'm just trying to get that all over radiance, and this is just a really gorgeous highlighter for that. So I've basically been focusing it on the highest points of my cheek throughout here, and then I'll just dabble a little bit on the center of my forehead, down my nose, and on my chin. And that's what I use for kind of like a setting powder. It sounds really crazy, but if you have any type of highlighter like this and you have really dry skin like me, try this out, because it's just, it leaves me like glowing even at the end of the day. So I've really been enjoying that. For bronzer, again, I want to stick with something that's luminizing, something that's brightening. So I've been using my this is the Betty Lou-Manizer from the Balm. It's kind of like a shimmering bronzer, and I've just been using that to contour with, a little bit on my forehead, a little bit on my chin, nothing much. The biggest thing that I think you need to realize with this foundation, for me, I guess individually I'm saying this, but less is more, I guess is what I'm trying to say with this foundation. You don't have to like cake everything on to get that gorgeous flawless look. So that's really all I've been using is like these 3 or 4 products, and that is totally it. So the biggest thing for me that I've changed since my first impression of this video is that I'm not setting it with the original powder anymore. I have noticed that it does have more of a satin velvety finish to it. It's not like oily when you put it on your skin. It just it has that slight satin finish to it. And then also I want to mention the wear of this foundation. Despite if I use it with the powder foundation or if I don't use it with the powder foundation, it lasts all day. And this is no exaggeration. The lasting power is totally there with this foundation. I mean, I've had this on since 9 o'clock this morning, and it is, I think, 3:30. It's 3:30 right now. So it's still lasting very nicely. So the staying power is great with this. So overall, there have been a couple disappointments with the foundation. I really was expecting it to be a little bit more hydrating on my skin. Not to say that it's drying, because it's not at all, but just because it does have a little bit of that satin finish to it. I think that layering it with my powder foundation did accentuate my dryness a little bit more. Other than that, it has been doing great. I've been really enjoying it, especially since I've switched brushes. Like I said, I've just been using the buffing brush with it. I use less foundation and it just looks totally airbrushed. It looks so natural and beautiful on the skin. And it's been great because I'm so used to setting my foundation with a powder or just using all powder. It's just been really kind of refreshing to just use the foundation and really not anything else other than just kind of like my little highlighter and bronzer here. It's just I've been enjoying this very minimalistic look. And that is my update on the foundation right now. Again, if you have any questions for me, if you're experiencing something strange or if you're just totally loving the foundation, I want to know your feedback, and please leave your comments down below. I will get to them as soon as possible, and I thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye!